Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm going to try to make this video super quick. I know it's kind of a day late. I would have preferred to post this yesterday, but I'm just like a day behind every week. I'm getting behind on stuff. But anyway, um, y'all know I'm being really flexible about due dates. So what I'm about to tell you, I have due on Tuesday at 11:59. If that seems impossible for you to get it done by then, just let me know and I can work with you individually. But the due date is Tuesday at 11:59. So again, just contact me if you feel like you need more time than that. But I also made this announcement yesterday that I wanted to point you to. This is all that's left for the class. So whatever I'm about to explain right here that's due on Tuesday, the final paper is due Friday of this week. And which, remember, if you've done all these scaffolding assignments that I've asked you to do, the final paper is basically pretty much written. So you're just going to spend time like fine-tuning some stuff this over the week. And then the final exam, it'll be available Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of the following week. So you'll have like a 3-day period to go on and take it. I don't remember how long you're allowed to have. I think like 2 hours or something like that because it's a final exam. But you'll get all those instructions later. But it's really 3 things left: the scaffolding assignment for this week, final paper, final exam. Remember though, I forgot to like really show y'all this. I forgot to make a Dropbox for the revision, and so I got 2 turned in here. But like, if you revised Essay 1, please put it in this Dropbox in the assignment folder because I gotta like grade those before the end of the semester. So if you remember that was an option. So if you chose to revise it, send it there. Okay, so let me show you what's going on for this week. So if you look at the discussions, you can scroll all the way down and you'll see I did a discussion board this week. I think that's why people got confused the past couple of assignments with it being in a drop. I don't know. It's all so confusing trying to keep up with everything, but I made a discussion board for this week, so it's at the bottom. Here's what I want you to do. So for this writing assignment here, I'm getting you ready to write a thesis statement and an introduction for your final paper. So you pretty much wrote the body paragraphs over the last 2 scaffolding assignments. And right now I'm getting you to do that first part, like the intro and thesis. So I'm going to talk through the first part because it's the hardest part. So remember that when you write a thesis statement, you're trying to take a position on a text. And y'all remember that joke I made in class? I think I've made it in your class before, where when I first learned about thesis statements as arguments, I felt really confused because I was like, I'm not mad about anything. What am I arguing? I don't really, have that strong of an opinion about this. And so you have to kind of take think about an argument as a position instead. So it's not like something that you're like fighting for. It's something that you're just showing that you think. So you're figuring out what you're talking about and why exactly, essentially. So for our class, I help you with your focus by asking you to pick a trope. That's really what the content of your paper is talking about. But then it's your job to figure out why you wanted to talk about that or why the author was representing that trope in a certain way. So like, why does The Road take a position on religion? Why does American Beauty take a position on maybe like gender roles or something else like that? Like, what is that text saying about that topic? Because think about it. If you wrote a motherhood paper about American Beauty, like motherhood in American Beauty versus motherhood in like Anne Bradstreet, when she talks about her writing as being like a child to her, or even Mary Rawlinson, who spends so much of her narrative talking about her child, like even all of those would have different papers or different thesis statements because they're each positioning the mothers in different scenarios. So that's your job here, is to figure out how the text you chose is representing that larger idea that we've seen across multiple texts, but how is it specific to yours? So that's so hard to do. And so I have like a 3-step process that I think helps get your brain working to writing that sentence, because that thesis sentence is the most important sentence of your paper. It guides the entire paper. So that's why I'm spending so much time right now talking to you about one sentence. So here's what I have students do to write a thesis. I have them first look at the topic sentences that they wrote. So when you wrote all those little topic sentences for the last scaffolding assignment, you made all these little mini claims about individual moments in the text. your thesis is a larger claim that is going to encompass those mini moments. So it's important to see what the smaller arguments you're making were so that you can make a larger one that covers that material. So what I ask you to do is to see what, after you copy and paste those sentences into this thread, look at them and think, okay, what is in common here? What am I noticing about my trope through these moments? What if you're noticing contradictions? That's fine. What if you're noticing a lot of stuff in common? That's fine too. You're just paying attention to like, how does the text deal with these things in these individual moments? How can I broaden that for my thesis? So I ask you to answer 2 questions as a brainstorm. What is unifying those topic sentences? And why in the world does anybody care? That's the hard part. Like, what are we learning when we look at these things together? So, like, what's the point? So, this, I think, really helps, the step 3, the template, I think helps to kind of get the words on the page. So answer those 2 questions if you can, just like do your best. I know it's hard, but then you'll write your thesis. The text focuses on, and you can say your trope there for that first blank, it focuses on motherhood, and you could get specific like motherhood in the 21st century, for example, if you were doing American Beauty, or religion and apocalypse if you were doing The Road. You could get a little specific there, you don't have to, but just identify your trope there. And then your in order to is this kind of purpose that you hopefully try to identify through those questions that I'm asking you to play with. Why does it focus on those things? What is it telling us about that idea? That's really the harder part of the assignment for this week. And so that's why I want you to do it on a discussion board by Tuesday, so that by noon on Wednesday I can reply to it and tell you what you could change or how you're doing. Y'all remember we did this as a workshop in class with that previous paper where me and Chris were like running around reading these statements and y'all were reading each other's, and I would wish so badly we could do that right now, but like this is my way of trying to make that happen online. So you're posting it by Tuesday 11:59 and I can get on and be like, hey, what's up? Change this. And you can respond and be like, is this better? Or you can do whatever you want with my comments. Now, that's what I'll be responding to in the discussion, but I also want you to take this time to write out the introduction to that paper. So your introduction will lead to the thesis. It contextualizes the argument. Notice I make you work backwards all the time in this class. I make you write the topic sentences and then the thesis, and then I ask you to write the thesis and then the introduction, because it's so much easier to contextualize when you know where you're going. So that's why I'm having you do it this way. If you hate it, I'm sorry, you'll be out of this class pretty soon, but this is like a tried and true method for me for paper writing, so I hope you at least learn something from it. But anyway, this is what the introduction will most likely need to do. I said it's about 300 to 500 words, roughly, and I provided those 3 structural elements. We talked about them in class a long time ago, but I wrote them out here. You make sure to introduce the author in the text with your first couple of sentences. You contextualize it with a few brief sentences of summary, and then also, remember, I said this in class before, I hope y'all do remember this. When you write the context part of an introduction, you're providing summary as if the reader hasn't read it, the text, but you're also biased towards your trope is what I usually say. So it's a very strong introduction if you're reading about, let me do a better example than The Road. That's my banana bread getting done in there, by the way. Finally on the banana bread stage of the quarantine. Anyway, let's see, what else? So let's say you're doing S-Town. And let's say you're doing like Gothic. I don't remember if that's a trope on there, but like Southern Gothic. Maybe you decided to do that. You would, in your summary, you would have to talk about who John B. is and like where he's from and like this is a podcast and blah, blah, like the basic stuff about it. But you don't want to all of a sudden be spending all your time talking about John B.'s maze, like the maze he makes in his yard, and then all of a sudden have a thesis statement about cynicism and Gothic like thoughts, like suicidal thoughts. And I'm like, how does the maze connect to the suicidal thoughts, right? You want your context to be like, John tells everybody he's gonna die and he hates his town and it leads him to have this mentality, right? Like, so the context does provide some rough summary, like contextualizing summary, but it also leads towards the thesis. So you're headed in a direction already. I hope that makes sense. And then, of course, the thesis, boom, at the bottom. So that way you lead into, like, you're building your argument from the beginning instead of just willy-nilly writing some sentences. Whew. So this will be due Tuesday at 11:59. By Wednesday, I will have read and responded to them. So you can take my advice and dress it up a little bit more for your final paper submission. I'm definitely on Monday going to get on here and post the final video about assembling your essay, because many of you are probably going to be working ahead. So on Monday, you'll have another video from me about the final paper, and then at the end of the week, there'll be one last video that's like, here's how to get ready for the final exam. Just if you're curious, the final exam will be the same format as the midterm, which y'all all killed, did so well on. So we're going to keep it that same format. Some passage identification, some multiple choice, easy stuff, and a short little essay. I think you had some short answer on there too. It'll be the same format. So I'll prepare you in a video of like what to expect it to look like. I think that's it for now. Yeah, so I think I forgot to say, I don't remember if I said this at the beginning, but don't forget to, did I say this? I made a discussion board for your makeup journal entries for S-Town, Flannery O'Connor, and Emily Dickinson. 9 of y'all have gotten on here and posted it. That's great. Please make sure to post those soon. I don't want to be chasing people down at the end of the semester trying to get that. And it'll be crazy. So if you can, over the next week or so, post those makeup journal entries. Remember, you could post a picture or whatever you needed to do. I don't know what all people have done yet because I haven't even looked at it. But some people type some PDF right here like Kendall did. Somebody, Savannah, has attached it here. Lots of people have done whatever. I don't care. I just want to be able to give you 100 for it. So post something there. I think that's it, y'all. Okay. Take care. Have a good weekend. Get outside. It's really sunny here. I'm excited. I'm going to go sit on my sister's back porch. I don't remember if I told y'all she moved and she wanted me to come help her move, and I was scared about getting the corona, so I didn't help her move, and now I feel bad, so I'm going to go sit on. Anyway, you know how this is. This is all like hard trying to keep up with your family and your health and follow the law and all that stuff. So we're going to sit on the porch 6 feet apart so I can see your new house. Anyway, so I hope you guys have a good weekend too. Stay safe. If you do hang out with anybody, stay very far away and outside. But yeah, y'all have a good weekend. I'll see you next time.